Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my first official stream. I don't know who's here and who's not, still learning the works. I'll just give it a couple minutes. And if you are here, you could just say something in the chat. If not, that's cool too. So today I'll be talking a little bit about me, my background, what this channel is, and then we'll talk about hypnotherapy, what that is, and then we'll do some anxiety talks, and then we'll do a fun, relaxing, calming hypno journey to help release and relieve of any anxiety you may have. So as far as myself goes, I haven't been practicing hypnotherapy too long. I've been practicing for about a year. My specialties are success and fulfillment. And what that is helping people who are aspiring for success or have success and really wanting to feel more fulfilled in having it, by going back and looking at realizations and their thought processes on money, abundance, how they were raised to see money and success, and really help integrate their new success with their old belief system, or releasing old beliefs to help new align with their life now. I also do artist empowerment, where I work with artists and actors and any creator really, and use their project as not only a guide to help them through any creative struggles, but also use it as a way to help them therapeutically, because anything we do creative is therapeutic in nature. Now, with hypnotherapy, it is a therapeutic modality. And what it is it works with behavior on a subconscious level. And all hypnotherapy does is use the state of hypnosis to access the subconscious to do the work there. And I'll be going into that in a few moments. I actually started years ago. I went to school for criminal justice, just doing a little background story. I worked at a jail for a few years, worked at a juvenile facility for a few years, learned that music was in my heart, music production. After graduating college, I went and built a studio in my parents' basement and wrote, produced an album. Didn't really know what I was doing, but just did it, wung it, and yeah, released an album, moved to Los Angeles to do the whole I want to make it big in music. Realized the industry aspect really wasn't my avenue of going down for music, but that's okay. Life for me is really just going down and finding your own path, finding your own way, even if that doesn't make sense on paper. Trusting yourself and trusting your heart, knowing what you want, and not stopping and going after it, even if it changes over time. Because at the end of the day, you're some of your experiences, you're not defined by them. So I tried to do music, and then from there, I did a lot of bartending in Los Angeles. I was originally supposed to go to music school at Musicians Institute, but I got a really good bartending gig at the Sunset Plaza, and I decided just to network instead. And from working at that bartending job, I got a job at Staples Center, Microsoft Theater, did a lot of, the whole catering, serving, and a lot of big events, VMAs, Grammys, all your bigger events. I worked them, and then I started a company, my own bartending company, where I learned that I did not know how to value myself, which is very interesting, especially in the scope of having your own business and having your own company. I would have these wonderful clients, but I did not feel comfortable charging a lot for my services, even though I know how hard I worked on them. So that was something I needed to figure out for myself. And so later on with my company, and I worked other side gigs as well, as far as catering, I decided to put my resume out there and got picked up by Tesla. And so I worked at Tesla for a year, and then I just learned, the position wasn't for me, and I stepped away. I did a lot of walking away in my life, and it wasn't so much that I wasn't grateful for the experiences. I wasn't unhappy. Well, you get to a point, there's growing pains in anything you do. But I've always trusted in myself, always followed my gut, always followed my heart, and know that at the end of all of this, like trusting yourself is so important, and being confident, knowing who you are is so important, especially outside the norms of what we think is what we need to be, what we should be. Walking away from some pretty big opportunities really helped me learn that, it's your life. It's not someone else's life for you. What someone else's dream job is, yes, you can be grateful to have it, but at the end of the day, it's your experience. It's how you interpret it and how you feel about it. And if something doesn't feel right, or doesn't feel no longer it's serving you in a way that's positive for you, don't be afraid to take those steps and have that courage to stand on your own and go after what you want. Because yeah, if you think about it, there's a bunch of us on this world. We each have a place and purpose here, but it's up to us to find it and discover it and find our own peace here. Because a lot of times we tend to stack our own puzzle pieces on somebody else's, thinking that's the way to go. But when each and every person has their own destiny, their own purpose, and their own passion, and it's up to us to make those scary choices and take those risks towards it to get to where, we're ultimately end up supposed to be. Yeah. Again, I don't know how many people are here. I'm still learning the ropes of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start my little ditty here. So with hypnotherapy, there's a lot of, misconceptions. Is it like stage show? First off, like, is it woo magic? No, it's not woo magic. Basically, what hypnotherapy is, it uses the state of hypnosis to access the subconscious. And hypnosis is just a heightened state. Yeah. Uses the state of hypnosis to help behavior on a subconscious level. And it's a natural state. You're in it about 30 minutes before you go to bed, about 30 minutes before you wake up, which is a great time to do affirmations because your body is already pretty suggestible during that time and in that state. If you've ever been super engulfed in a movie, feeling super present in it, you've been in hypnosis. If you've ever been driving down the highway and you've missed your exit, you've been in hypnosis. So we're in and out of it a lot throughout the day that we may not even be consciously aware of. And really what hypnotherapy does is it uses that state as a vehicle to the subconscious mind. So it's not magic. Basically, our minds are just wild. There's a lot happening subconsciously. Actually, if you think about our minds, we only use about 12% of our mind consciously. The rest of it is unconscious or subconscious. If you could kind of think of it like a night out in the before times, right? You can think of the conscious mind as the bouncer. And your conscious mind will allow what information in your external world is allowed to come in your subconscious. And basically, like if you're having a conversation with someone and you're not agreeing with them, that's because your belief system, your subconscious says, no, this doesn't align with what's, we already know. Our subconscious mind, you can think of it like the nightclub, right? There's a lot happening, but nobody knows what's going on. There's someone crying in the corner, people are getting all out of control at some times, or you got people chilling in the back who's not really, caring. Anything goes in your subconscious nightclub. And hypnosis just is the person who knows the promoter. And it's just a gateway into the change that someone wants to make. Now, hypnotherapy has been shown to be very effective, especially with anxiety, fears, doubt, self-confidence, writer's block, procrastination. There's an endless list of things hypnotherapy can be helpful for, just because of the access it has to the subconscious mind to make changes that can then be reflected in our daily life. And it's best if you know the promoter with the table, because that's your intention for change. And if you don't have that intention for that change and you want that change, it's a little bit more difficult for, it may take a little bit longer for those changes to occur. However, if you have a strong desire for that change, you want to overcome those fears, and your conscious desire is a lot stronger than your subconscious, or that desire is really strong, hypnotherapy could be very effective, because what hypnotherapy does is it aligns your conscious desire for change with your subconscious programming, so to say, that still carries that fear that one may have that they're wanting to change. So the subconscious mind, what it does, it carries all of our experiences, our ingrained beliefs, our habits, all our physiological responses that we have. Because of our experiences, it determines how we interpret and how we respond to the world. It protects us from the world we know, which is our views, our beliefs, how we see our world, how our world has impacted us as an individual. So that's where a lot of anxiety can stem from, is our fear of the future, because our mind does this really wonderful thing where it wants to protect us by what we know from what we don't. So if we see a future that's unknown, all these thoughts can start popping up, trying to make sense of it, going through a Rolodex of our experiences, trying to make sense of the future that hasn't happened yet. You can think of the subconscious mind as one comforting the crying friend in the corner, right? So someone may be crying in the corner over a guy, which could be something subconsciously, an experience that you may have had in the past, and your mind is just going to want to comfort you. And now this stems to, that reaching for ice cream, reaching for those things that we know aren't good for us, but our subconscious, they have been programmed as, this is good, we like this, this is a great experience. So when you're feeling those upsets and that sadness, and you automatically feel like, oh, I want a cookie, oh, I want some ice cream, oh, I want this, for that self-soothing, it's because your subconscious mind is there to protect you. It just wants to make you feel better. And with hypnotherapy, how that can work is by aligning, more a different approach to self-soothing versus reaching for ice cream, reaching for something else. So you can think of it that the subconscious does not know what's real or fantasy. And in the state of hypnosis, you're deeply relaxed and deeply calm. And in this state, using imagery and metaphors, we can bring up the emotional experiences that we want to feel to different experiences. So let's say, for example, getting over a fear of riding a bike. As a child, someone may have fell off a bike, and now they're fearful of getting back on a bike again. So with hypnotherapy, we can go in and go through the process of riding a bike as if it's happening in your mind. And it's releasing the same neurological, you're having the same experiences, your body is anyway, as if you're actually riding a bike, going through that visual imagery and metaphors. And with that, we can reassociate new emotional responses to an experience. So taking someone through the imagery and the visuals and that experience in their mind of riding a bike can then take out or switch and reassociate new feelings that someone wants to feel instead of something that they're fearful of. And that then, after a period of time, can be reflected in their daily life, where they will feel more confident, more empowered to be able to ride a bike. It may also access our own inner voice within. So if any of you are thinking, oh, it's woo-woo, this would be Okay, it's a little bit, but not really. A little bit. Um, we have a lot of knowledge inside of us. We have a lot of wisdom, untapped wisdom inside of us. And hypnotherapy does have different methods like past life regression, which is something I practice if you're into that, um, where you can access really different parts of yourself that you may not have ever thought possible. Um, and get your own inner guidance, that inner wisdom. Like we all have that little gut feeling, those that inner guidance. This could help bring more clarity to that little voice. All right, so we're going to talk about anxiety now. And we all know that anxiety sucks. Like nobody likes it. Like it's annoying. We want to go through life and, feel confident in what we're doing and knowing that what we're doing is okay. But anxiety likes to creep itself up and kind of gum up the works a little bit sometimes. And right now I'm going to talk about where does it live? So where does general anxiety live? And there are two places. The amygdala, which is right in the center, right there. And what that is in charge of is our physiological responses. So it acts as a predictor almost, but it's there to protect us. And that part of the brain stores every experience that you've ever had. It conditions it holds your fears, anything that may have troubled you growing up or had any experience in a traumatic experience in that effect. It's going to be stored in there. And what that does is it will release those chemicals in your body to help that trigger the fight, flight, freeze response. When there's similar experiences happening externally, it may not be similar, but that event that happened are still affecting today. And it's wanting to protect you from those experiences. So you may trigger that fight, flight, freeze response. And logically, it doesn't make sense why you may be feeling these things. Fast heartbeat, breathing, a little bit quicker. And it's just your body and your mind trying to protect you from something. Maybe something that happened before previously, but it's always looking out for you. And then we have our cortex, which is, that fun part in our brain. And it's anxiety that's based off of thought provoking. So, every things that we're worried about and we're ruminating, we can bring up the physiological effects of anxiety in our minds through thought provoking. And that's creating, again, the physiological response. And it tries to make sense, especially if we're feeling something from the amygdala, all those physiological responses, but the cortex, our thought process, really can't make sense of it. So we may be thinking our present reality, what we're experiencing, is the cause of the responses, the physiological responses, when in reality, there may be an experience that happened in the past that the amygdala is trying to warn you from, even though it may not have any effect with, doesn't really, correlate with what's happening now. But that's how, things can affect us over time. And yeah, we can think about it like this. I like to think about amygdala. I think of it as someone named Amy, holds grudges, won't tell you what's wrong, but something is up, means well. Again, it's holding on to the past, holding off to the emotional experiences and the emotional responses we've learned from those experiences that are triggered in our day-to-day life. And then cortex, you can think of it as Corey, worries that Amy is not fine. So it tries to figure out, okay, there's something wrong inside me. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. And that can continue more worry, more, anxiety to build up. And basically, it's like Amy remembers that one time you got bit by a dog and won't let it go, right? And then now someone's been plagued by a fear of cute little puppers, and yeah, that can be sad. Even though if someone was fearful of dogs and they had a friend who had a really great dog, it was safe and sweet, but there's still that anxiety. There's that fear there because the amygdala remembered that happened. And now it's triggering those physiological responses to keep you safe from that happening again. And now we're off to our hypno journey. Oh, before that, so I referenced this book, Rewire Your Anxious Brain, How to Use Neuroscience of Fear to End Anxiety, Panic, and Worry. I highly recommend this book if you're experiencing anxiety and if you want a better understanding of it. This is a great book. Highly recommend. All right. Now, again, I don't know how many people are here who are watching, but we are going to do a little hypno journey. And this is just a nice time for you to get comfy and cozy, feel nice and relaxed. But before you do for this imagery journey, I want you to go ahead and think of one thing you may be having anxiety about. And I want you to give it a color. One color. Noticing those feelings of that color. Noticing how that color feels. Good. And now you're going to pick another color. A color for feeling happy, empowered, and in control. You can close your eyes and do it if you like. Feeling happy, empowered, and in control. Good. I now want you guys to get nice and comfy, cozy, sitting back in your chair, resting your head gently on a cushion. Maybe you're sitting on a couch or laying on a bed. And as you do that, I want you to look up close to the ceiling of wherever you are and find a spot. And as you're looking at that spot, I want you to go ahead and notice if there's any shadows or light reflecting off of it. Noticing the texture. Noticing how it makes you feel. Just looking at that spot. And you may even have thoughts wandering and passing through right now. Just your mind, and you can go ahead and let them. And as you allow your passing thoughts to move through your mind and keep staring at that spot above, you may notice your body may be feeling a little heavier now. As it may be sinking a little deeper into the cushions or chair behind you. And as you're sinking a little deeper, I wonder if you can give yourself permission, or even just repeat after me in your mind. I'm feeling nice and calm. I'm feeling nice and relaxed. And I give myself permission to feel these wonderful feelings of relaxation and calmness. And as this relaxation and calmness begins to move through you, your eyes may grow heavier and heavier. And as your eyelids grow heavier and heavier, the more relaxed and droopy and drowsy, snuggle deeply into the cushion or chair behind you, you feel. And you can go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I wonder if you can picture, imagine, or pretend in your mind of seeing a golden warm light beginning to shine from the top of your head. And as this light moves down from the top of your head, it gently soothes and warms you. As it moves down your face, through your shoulders, down your back, unwinding every muscle, tissue, fiber, and cell. As you sink heavier and heavier, deeper and deeper into the chair or couch you're resting on. As that warm golden light releases that tingly, warm, calming feeling down through the soles of your feet. Just allowing and giving yourself permission to feel that comfy, cozy, relaxing feeling. Taking a nice, deep, soothing breath in and letting go. Exhaling. Releasing anything that may not be serving you in this moment. Taking a nice, deep, relaxing breath in once more. Allowing that calming feeling to move through every muscle, tissue, fiber, and cell. And exhaling. I now want you to visualize, imagine, picture, or pretend you're standing on top of a beautiful grassy hill, trees off to the distance. And you may notice the breeze flowing through the blades of grass as it changes and changes colors. As the wind blows by, maybe brushes your hair, allowing the serene feeling of the sun above to warm you and calm you. And at the bottom of this safe, grassy hill, you notice a billboard. The billboard of the color that you had for anxiety. You see it painted that color. But you look down at your hands at the top of the hill, visualizing and imagining, sensing, or getting an idea of yourself holding a pail. A pail with a paintbrush. And in this pail, you have the beautiful, empowering color. A color that keeps you in control, feeling good, feeling happy and confident. Even just looking at that bucket can bring up those feelings of confidence, feeling empowered and in control. And as you do that, you're going to take 10 steps down to that billboard. And with every step, you allow that bucket to feel a little heavier with more and more paint. More and more beautiful color, paint, that represents that feeling of joy, peace, calmness, feeling empowered and in control. And as you do that, we'll begin at 10, 9, 8. Looking down at the pail, it's feeling a little heavier and heavier now as you feel more joy and empowerment. 7, 6, 5. Another step on the grass. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. You're there. Deep sleep. And as you're feeling this deep sleep relaxation, you're allowing these images of that billboard to become clear. And you're just looking at it. But you're noticing how that billboard may have made you feel. But you look down at the pail next to you, and you see it abundant with paint. The beautiful color of feeling good and empowered. And you can go ahead now and begin to paint over that billboard. And with every stroke of paint, you feel those good feelings. And it feels really good to be in control of those feelings. And as you paint, that billboard becomes less and less of that anxious feeling. You can continue to see yourself painting in that beautiful color. And watching yourself dip the paintbrush into the paint, lifting it up, and just painting. Whatever feels right to you, what that may look like to you. And as you continue to paint, you bring up that feeling of being empowered and in control of any anxious thoughts you may have. Because you see it on that billboard disappearing in front of you. As that paint, that anxious color begins to disappear and dissipate. And you can see yourself painting the last bit. And if you see it a little thinning somewhere and you think it needs another coat, go ahead and paint it over. Feeling good and even more in control. Keep painting that billboard until you can no longer see that other color come through. Good. Just allow yourself to keep painting. Until the only feelings you feel are confidence, happy, feeling more in control of these feelings, wiping away and painting away any of those leftover emotions that don't serve you in this moment, moving forward. And you can go ahead and take a step back and look at the work you've done in your mind. Visualize, imagine, get a sense of what it looks like to you and how happy and empowered you feel now. Allowing those good feelings to pour through every muscle, tissue, fiber, and cell, and releasing again any feelings that no longer serve you. And you can feel a sense of calmness and ease now. Allowing the sun to warm your skin. Give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. Good. I'm now going to begin to count up from 0 to 5. 0, we're going to lock in these good feelings now. And when you wake up, don't be surprised if you're feeling refreshed, invigorated, relaxed, and more at ease. 0, locking this in. 1, waking up now. 2, becoming aware of the sounds in the room. 3, 4, more alert. 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. Cool. I'll let you guys wake up a little bit. Again, I very much could be talking to myself right now, but that's okay. All right. Well, cool. Thank you, guys. Next week, I'll be talking about success and fulfillment, and we'll be doing a fun little journey to feel more fulfilled with where you are in life, to be ready for that successful moment. Or it could go both ways. If you're very successful, then you'll be able to feel more empowered with your success and feel more fulfilled with it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, Thursday at 7. Bye.